posted in for Farquhar were carried along Thomas's branch line to the sorting office in Tidmouth. The trains became heavier and heavier. One day, about a week before Christmas, the people at the pudding factory asked for an extra delivery of milk for traditional Christmas puddings to be delivered to market by road. The factory manager had asked the fat controller, who then arranged for Percy to take it. That was during the morning. By the evening, the sky clouded over, thick and heavy from the east. It began to snow, not hard at first, but by night it had turned into a blizzard. And by next morning, the wind howled with cold frosts. Percy and Thomas shivered in the shed.
Just my luck to have to go out again,
Percy grumbled.
I'd much rather stay in this warm shed.
Wouldn't we all? Agreed Thomas. But you and I know orders are orders. We wouldn't want the children missing their presents or pudding on Christmas Day just because we'd rather be here in the shed, would we? Percy knew Thomas was right. Once his driver and fireman arrived, they set off with their deliveries. Rather to his surprise, the snow wasn't too bad. It remained pretty much the same as Percy trundled along with this delivery of milk. But he still shivered. "We'll be all right now," said the fireman as they came safely out into the valley. But for now, he was wrong. Later that day, Percy had to help Thomas deliver the mail, but Thomas was soon to be called away. "Reports of more snow are on the way," said Thomas's driver. "The fat controller has suspended Daisy and needs us to take the passengers instead." Percy sighed. He knew he'd have a heavier train.
Just my luck,
he grumbled once more.
Now I wish I was in my warm shed.
"Don't worry," encouraged Thomas. "Just remember what I said. Orders are orders. We can't let the children down on Christmas Day, can we?" Percy agreed. "But be careful, though," warned Thomas. "It's probably deeper along the cutting towards the village."
"Don't worry,"
replied Percy.
"I will, and I'll give the villagers a happy Christmas from you, too."
And with that, the two engines set off. The cutting was usually the worst place other than the tunnel during the snowy season, but Percy pumped through without trouble until... "What's that?" cried the driver. There ahead was a fogman showing a red light. "The village is cut off by the snow," he said. "We need snowplows, workmen, and a helicopter. Leave your trucks in a siding and go back quickly," he added. Percy hadn't gone far when there was a deep rumbling sound from above them. "Quick!" urged Percy's driver. But it was too late. Already the snow was so thick that it piled up all around, and not even Percy's wheels could spin an inch. "Go back to the station and tell them what has happened," the driver said to the fireman. "Thank goodness there aren't any passengers to worry about." "No," grumbled the fireman. "You didn't say I needed snowshoes, did you?" He told the guard where he was going, and a little while later, the guard came to Percy's cabin to be near the fire. "Make the most of it," remarked the driver with a grin. "We can only keep it going as long as the coal and water lasts." When the firemen reached the station, the staff wasted no time in sending for help. But the weather had become so severe that not even Donald and Douglas could force their way through. They thought of setting to for Farquhar for Thomas, but then realized that by the time he could reach them, the snow would probably be thick enough to strand him too. They held a conference in the station master's office. "It's the mail and the villagers, that's the biggest concern," said the station master. "We can't just leave them and the mail stuck in the snow." "Don't they keep part of the airfield clear at all times?" suggested Percy's fireman. "Harold the helicopter is near there. He could get the mail and supplies to the village for us." "They'd never let him take off in this blizzard," objected the station master. Early next morning, Thomas and Toby brought hot drinks and supplies to the airfield to be taken to Percy's driver and guard. The skies had cleared enough for Harold to be allowed to take off. "Take care, Harold," called Thomas. "Don't worry, old chap," replied Harold. "I like an emergency to keep me warm." And he buzzed away. Toby and Thomas then went off too. "I hope Percy's all right," sighed Thomas to himself. Harold took as many sacks as he could and kept coming back, dropping mail and supplies down to the villages until all the mail was cleared. It was late in the afternoon before Thomas arrived from the bark barn with Terence, and Terence got to work clearing the snow away until the tracks and villages were cleared and Percy was pulled out. "Hooray for Harold and Terence!" cheered the villagers. "Hooray!"
Thank you for rescuing me,
said Percy.
Now I know what you felt like, Thomas. Remember that year when you went to collect the Christmas tree for the Fat Controller and you became stranded in the snow blizzard and you had to be rescued? Well, it was alright until my fire went out, but I don't want to do that again. Next year, posting early for Christmas can start as soon as it likes.